All right. Hi, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to our 5-year anniversary celebration, class number one on online banking. It's really great to see all of you here with us today. We really haven't been having as many live classes we usually have been doing. I've been hoping everyone has been participating in our recorded classes, but it's really, really great to see all of you actually live on Zoom today. Before we get started, I just want to make a few announcements about what's upcoming and what you've heard about. Usually I do this at the end of the class, but I want to make sure everyone hears it. So just stay on the lookout for these. Joe, you can go to the next slide. And the one after this. Okay, so this flyer, I hope many of you have seen already. If not, I will send this to the email list and WhatsApp chat and all our social media platforms again after the class today. We are celebrating our 5-year anniversary since this program was founded when I was in 7th grade. The way that we're commemorating this celebration is we're hosting 2 classes just like this on topics that we feel are really relevant to the lives of seniors around the world. The first one, which is today, is online banking, and that is going to, as you see in a few minutes, be a very, very important topic to be aware of. And then our next class, which I also really hope you'll all join us for, will be on March 13th at the same time, 11:30 a.m. And that we're going to cover a very interesting class on photos and social media, how to share pictures across the internet, something that is really prevalent now and something I really think you will all enjoy. And then the big finale to all of this will be on April 3rd at 11:30 a.m. And Joe, you can go to the next slide. I have the other side of the flyer here. If you guys didn't know that this flyer was a double-sided one. And I'll send more information about this tribute event as we get closer. But we are really excited to be hosting an event with an in-person option at the Ramaz Lower School, which is on the flyer. It says 125 East 85th Street. It's actually right across the street from where I started the program in the Ramaz Middle School, for those of you that were there when that started. This will be an event basically commemorating the 5 years journey that we have taken and all the work that we've done. And we'll have a few seniors kind of share some remarks. We'll show some videos. I think it will be a very, very nice event. There is no charge to attend the event. But for those of you that are not based in New York or cannot attend in person, there will be a virtual option to attend the event. And I will, as we get closer, share more information about this, but we're more than happy to have everyone attend in person. It will obviously be very COVID safe. But for those of you that would like to attend online, we are also offering that option as well. So everyone should feel that they're able to attend this, whether it's coming in person to the Ramaz Lower School at 125 East 85th Street or on Zoom, and the link is right over here as you see. But for those of you that have been receiving email updates from us and WhatsApp messages, you will be getting all this as we get closer to the event again in your inbox. So don't be worried if you're not, this isn't all sinking in just now. This will be April 3rd, so you have about a month. The only thing I do ask is for those of you that would like to attend in person at the Ramaz Lower School, as it says on the bottom of this flyer over here, please send me an email just indicating that you are there. I need to know the number of seniors we have attending. It's going to be a really great event. I hope you could join us in person. We're going to have a celebration. I hope everyone will be there. The only thing I do ask is if you would like to attend in person, please just send me an email, simple email saying I'll be there in person, and I'll just keep your name down just so I have the numbers. Okay, those were all my housekeeping announcements, and now I want to get into the material for today. So let me first just outline the structure of the class today. Joe, you can go to the next slide. This is the tentative outline. Every time we create a lesson plan, we seem to always underestimate how much time things take. So I did this in the order of how I want to get to things. We're going to start just with the basic online banking, which is how to make deposits online, how to scan a check, how to keep track of all your payments. Then we're going to go to a program called Venmo, which maybe people have heard of here. It's a very, very new, exciting program about sharing money online with individual people. So for example, if you were to go to dinner with someone and you split the check with them, you could then Venmo them your half share. And I'll explain how this works when we get to it. We're going to look at PayPal a little bit, which I'm sure many of you have heard of and some of you might use. Then we're going to look at a program only on Apple phones. That's why it's towards the bottom, called Apple Pay and Wallet, which actually, since I've taught this class last, has been updated tremendously. And you can now use the Apple Pay and Wallet when you're going on the buses or when you're going on the subway. You could just tap your phone using the system in order to get on the metro service. And then if we do have time at the end, which does seem a little unlikely to me, we will look at the stocks app on your phone and how to kind of keep track of what's going on in the stock market. So that's the tentative plan for today. I do want to get into it because even though it might not seem like it, it definitely is a lot. For those of you that would like to ask questions or have comments throughout today's class, feel free to put them into the chat section, or you could raise your hand virtually. I think the chat is really the best because it comes up on our screen. For those of you that are a little bit confused at points, we will be sending out a recording of the entire class today to your emails and WhatsApp chats directly following the class today. So you will have that, and you could rewatch the class as many times as you would like if you want to kind of review something. So don't feel that you have to write everything down or really catch everything. We'll make sure you get that later today. Also, for those of you that are new, which I know there's a group of you that this is really your first class with us. There are a few other teams here I want to introduce you to. We have Julia, Caroline, and Joe that will all be teaching parts of the class today, and you will get to meet them as we go through the class today. Okay, Joe, let's go to the next slide. All right, so let me just set the stage for all of you, which is what does this even mean, online banking? And this kind of term, which is relatively new in the tech world, is using a computer or mobile device. So really, your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop, to transfer money, pay bills, and view your account balance, and do really almost any other banking activity. Now, during the COVID pandemic, the use for online banking obviously elevated because people weren't walking into physical banks and needed to really do everything from their homes. And I think that despite what hopes to be that we're nearing the end of this pandemic, online banking is something that actually will stick. And as we will explain on the next slide, there are many advantages to using this as opposed to going to a physical bank. Now, I'll point out that generally, if you already have a bank account, you'll want to set up online banking with that same bank. So the majority of the popular banks, right, Chase, TD, Bank of America, Citi, all those banks, and there are many, many others, actually have online banking built in. And when you, after this class, go to set that up, you're going to look for the app affiliated with your bank. So even though today I'll use maybe TD Bank as the example, it does work similar, but you should be using the bank that you're obviously affiliated with. There's no need to create a whole new bank account just to use online banking. The idea is it should be easier for you to check and update your current bank account. And it says here, most well-known banks make it easy to do this from your home computer, which is obviously one of the efficient and benefits of using this. All right, let's go to the next slide. So I'm going to have Caroline just basically go through now what are the advantages of using online banking as opposed to walking and going to a physical bank.
Hi, guys. So the advantages of online banking is, I'm going to start with the first one, is it's usually free. So it could save you money. So by paying bills online, you won't have to buy as many stamps or envelopes or anything like that to ship your regular mail. It's just through your phone and doesn't cost anything. The second one is you'll make fewer trips to the bank, so it'll save you time and you can do it within seconds instead of walking all the way to the bank, however far it is from where you live. Then you don't have to worry about getting to the bank before they close. Online banking can be done at any time of the day or night. Like if you're up at 6 in the morning or at 3 o'clock at night, it can be done at any time. Many banks also have mobile apps for smartphones and tablets, so you can make transfers or check your balance when you're on the go. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Caroline. So hopefully we convinced you a little bit that if you haven't used online banking before, this is something that you should definitely check out for the reasons that Caroline just went through. Okay, so let's actually get into this, and I'll as I'm opening up the screen share on my phone, I'll answer that question that just popped into the chat, which is how safe are these platforms? And we always mention when we're doing online sites that there always is going to be some sort of risk with using the sites. The only thing we can really prevent is how much risk there is. And I would say on online banking platforms, especially the big banks out there, there are very limited security problems with this because the app is actually run by your bank, and when you do any sort of deposit and take any money out or do anything regarding your financial status, it's being sent as a message over to your bank. It's not going through your phone's Apple service or Microsoft. It's not going through any of those platforms. But everything's being done from you to the bank. It's basically like you're there. So in terms of security, I would feel very, very comfortable using these sort of platforms. All right, Joe, you able just to stop sharing, and I'll put on my my phone here so we could all take a look at one of the online banking apps. Just give me 1 second. As this is coming up, I do want to point out that the online banking apps are third-party apps, which means that you could download them through the App Store, which is over here. You would put in to the search bar, or if you're on an Android, it could be called the Google Play Store. You'll put in the name of the app, the name of the bank. So if I put in TD Bank, you'll see how it usually is the first or second option. There it is. You're looking for the US one, if that's where you are. And you will click on the Get button, the GET button next to that app. You see how I already have the TD Bank app, so it says open for me over here. But if I did the same thing with Bank of America, you'll see the same type of thing will come up. There it is. There's Bank of America, and also Chase Mobile also came up, which is the app for Chase. Basically, just go to the App Store, type in, even typing in the first few letters of the bank will come up for you, and just click on Get, and it will start to download to your phone. Okay, you can see on my phone, I already have TD Bank downloaded. It looks just like this. It's the same green icon with the TD. And once again, for those of you that use different bank services, they all work pretty much identical. So you could you follow these same steps, obviously on your own individual apps. When you first get the app, you'll be asked to sign in with your account. You don't need to sign in once you get the app. You could use this app just to view information going on in TD Bank and get updates. But to make it the most personalized service, you obviously want to sign in so that you could do everything listed above, including transferring money, making deposits, sending money, etc. Now, the way that you are going to sign in and basically connect the app to your bank account is by clicking on that accounts button, which you'll find at the top left of the screen. If you don't see it there, and this really goes for any app, you want to look for those 3 lines all the way at the top left of my screen. This is an icon that not only in online banking apps, but really everywhere stands for a menu. So when you click on those 3 lines, that means other options will come up. And if you're ever lost or if you're ever not sure where you are, that's a button that I think you could always rely on as somewhere that will kind of take you back to start and give you those options again. So you'll see that if I click on those three lines, I see the home option, which is definitely an appealing button to click on. And then there we see as my third option is what I mentioned before, which is what we're looking for, which is accounts. And that's what you're looking on when you first get the app. You want to sign into your account. So you're looking for a button that indicates account somewhere. Okay. Second. Okay. I just blocked off a few things here, but this should give you the general gist. Let me just erase this box. Okay. So you'll see I have already been signed in to my account over here. The way I know that is because it says welcome Jordan. It's welcoming me into this account. And it also has listed here what's called a TD convenience checking account. That is the account that I have connected. And you'll see that it will tell me behind these two red boxes, the total price under the first one and then the total under the second one. The reason why it has both of these is because you are able to keep and manage multiple accounts. Let's say you have a business one and a personal one, or you have a few accounts for your children that you manage. You are able to keep multiple accounts on this app. And you can add new accounts just by clicking on that button over here where it says open a new account. When you click on that, you're actually able to add an additional account, and that way you could basically keep track of the different accounts. The one benefit that I think is the most obvious to using to putting multiple accounts on the online banking apps is that you could transfer money very, very easily between the two. For example, if I have my personal account and my business account, and someone sends me a $20 check to my personal one when it really should go to my business one, if I'm using both accounts on the online banking app, it is very, very easy to send the money from one of those accounts to another. It's actually really simple, and we're going to show you how to do that today. Okay, so for today's purposes, what I want to show you now is how to do the simple things like scan a deposit, pay a bill, transfer money. And you could do that by clicking on the account that you have set up. Obviously, if you're new to this and you haven't done this before, you need to click on that button that says open a new account, put in the information that is affiliated with your account. It might ask you for your bank account number, your name, obviously. You should put in that information and it will add you to this account. Something else that's nice is you could always call the phone number of your bank, and you can actually do this directly from the app. And if you have any trouble with this, they can guide you through the process of how to add a credit card or add any other piece of information. So you should definitely take advantage of that feature. So I'm going to go ahead and click where it says TD convenience checking to open up the information behind that. 1 second. Okay. Sorry. Just setting one thing. Okay. So I just clicked on the option that says the checking account in order to see what's going on with my account. Okay. This is what you are going to look at when you click on the account option, where at the top in big white letters, you'll see what's called the available balance, which is how much money, the positive amount of money you have in your account. It also says today's beginning balance right below that. I'll give you, put a little spotlight here so you can see what I'm referring to. Today's beginning balance and pending. Sometimes this is one of the downsides to using online banking, that it does take, it could take a day or so for the deposit that you scan to actually go into the account. So it will be placed in the pending option first. And then it will be sent to today's beginning balance once it goes through. So that's just something you have to be aware of, that everything you do on this platform won't always go automatically. Now, right below that, we're going to look at these buttons in just a second: the pay a bill, transfer, deposit, and manage wallets. I just want to show you down here where it says activity, you're able to manage all of the payments that you've made, whether it's money coming in or money coming out. It will show you the date that the payment was made, who the payment was made to, and what exactly the payment was. So you can see I can keep scrolling, and you could basically go through this. If you see the dollar print in green, that means the money, you've received the money. If it's in gray, that means it's money that has been taken out of your account. And once again, remember, you see over here, it says pending, meaning this payment here, the ATM debit Zoom payment, has not affected my today's it has not been affected my available balance yet. It's still in that pending stage where it takes a day or so in order just to lock in to your account. You also see over here we have details and statements. You could always click on these, and basically if you're on the phone call with someone and they need something like your account number or your routing number or any of these pieces of information, and you've in the past have called your bank for this piece of information, it's right here for you under that details tab. You could just go ahead and click there just to see that information. All right, now I'm going to look at these buttons over here. The first one says pay a bill. If I go ahead and click on the pay a bill option, you'll see how it will, and I'll erase this. It will ask me about these options here. Right now I have no bills. It says looks like empty in here. That means there's nothing there, but to add a bill, you'll click on either the add a bill button over here, or it's also found at the top over here. And once I click on that, it will prompt me with a pretty easy question. Who do you want to pay? Who is this person that you want to send the bill to? And you'll put their name in. Typically, when you're doing the online banking account, you'll have to know their email address. That's how these bank accounts work. Once you put in that email address, you could click on search, which is the button over here at the bottom right of the screen. You'll be asked to put in the amount of money, and then the bill will go through. The bill actually goes through not via the mail, because you're doing this online, but it will go through. They'll basically get, like the same way you'll get a message on your phone, they'll get a notification on their phone saying Jordan Mittler has requested $20, and they'll click on it. They'll see the bill. They'll see what it's for. They'll have a virtual option to kind of scribble on their phone to sign it. And then the money, once they approve, will go straight into your bank account into that pending section. So that's the bill section. If we go to transfer now, which as you saw earlier, if I click on transfer right now, I actually won't be able to transfer any money. Why? Because I only have one account connected to my TD Bank account. If I click on transfer, you'll see how it gives me this big alert. We're sorry, but you don't have enough accounts. You need a minimum, obviously, of 2 accounts in order to transfer money from one to another. I currently have one, but for those of you that would like to use the transfer option and have 2 accounts, once you click on transfer money, it will be asked how much do you want to transfer, and it will ask you 2 questions. Where do you want to transfer from, and where do you want to transfer to? And you'll select. You might have, if you have 5 accounts on your bank app, you might have to specify. But if you have 2, it's very simple. Select where you want it coming from, where you want it going to. This is something that will actually happen pretty instantly, which is very nice, just because it's going from one account to another. Now, my favorite thing about this this app is the ability to actually make deposits. And that's that button you see over here with the little camera. And if I go ahead and click on that deposit option, I am given this page over here. Let me just get rid of some of these boxes just so you can see what's going on. Now, if you once you click on the deposit button, you'll see you'll see at the top where the deposit is going to. If you click on that, you'll see how there's a little arrow over there. Circle it so you can see it clearly. This little arrow over here means that when you click on this option, it will have a drop down menu of the other bank accounts that you have connected. Right now, if I click on that, I won't see anything else. But if you would like to make the deposit to a different account, you can do that by clicking there. Then you have to actually manually type in the amount. So you can type in, $20, whatever it is, make sure that you put in the correct amount of zeros so that it aligns same way you would an actual check. Now here's the fun part, which is, taking the pictures. You'll see how there's two options here that says front and back. The first step is you want to click on where it says front. And once you do that, you'll be given something that looks like this. You're looking at my camera. How nice. And you'll see that there's basically this like white outline of a check, which is designed for you. It has the date, it has the memo. You see the app is kind of going a little crazy right now because it's trying to find the check, but it's not finding it because there's not really anything there. That's why it's telling me to basically check that all my four corners are there. If typically, even though that you do see that white that camera button that you'll use typically on the Photos app to take a picture, you usually do not need to click on that, but it will actually identify the check just by holding it up. And if you outline it precisely with that outline there, if it picks up the check, which is really the best way to do it, because then it will be verified, you don't really need to click on that white button. Sometimes, maybe you're in a very dark room or it's not picking it up, and you could just go ahead and click on that white button to actually take the check. You'll see, let me go to back as well, and you'll see it's the same thing where they have that endorse here signature. It actually turns the flashlight on automatically for you when you're doing this because it wants to make sure it can see the check clearly. Once you have taken those two pictures, you'll click on the button at the bottom of the screen. It says continue. And once you do that, you will be asked just to confirm. So it will say, confirming you would like to deposit this check, and it will repeat the amount that you put in over here for $20. If you did it all right and you want to proceed with it, you'll click on complete. Now, there are times where this will not work. For example, international checks. If you receive money internationally, you actually need to go to an in-person bank to do this. Sometimes if someone has really messy handwriting and you try to scan a check and it's just not picking up, it's not really reading the numbers, that's another reason why you would have to go to a in-person bank. I would say I've done this many, many times. 90% of the time it works. So this is something that you should feel comfortable with. But there is occasional times where you get someone who kind of scribbles the amount of money that they owe you, and it's not able to pick it up from the phone's platform. And you need to do that in an actual physical bank. But the assumption is most of the time this should work, and it's very, very, very efficient and easy. This is probably my favorite feature about this, which is just signing into that app and selecting the option. Okay, just quick recap, and Joe, you could open up the slides again as I'm doing this. For those of you that have never done this before and have not used online banking before, what you want to do after the class today, and once again, you'll have the recording of this. You can go through the steps that I mentioned once again with your phone open. You want to go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, which is the store where you go to purchase third-party apps. You want to click on the little magnifying glass at the bottom right of the screen, and you want to type in where it says the search. You want to type in the name of the bank that you use. So whichever one it is, put it in there. Usually it's the first or second option. Click on get. Once it loads, it takes a few minutes to probably load. You will open up the app. You're looking for the accounts button. You want to click on that and sign in with your account information. It might ask for your bank account number, your email, your password, your name. You want to put in all that information if it does request it. Once you've signed into your account, you have the ability to view payments that have occurred recently, how much money you currently have in your account, how much money that you've lost in the past week. You can view all that information. You can make deposits by scanning in checks, and you could pay bills using this app by clicking on the pay bill function and putting in the email address of the person you want to send money to. As you can see, this is a very nice way of putting everything together in one place for you. And as Caroline mentioned, you could do this at any time during the day and any time that is convenient for you. You don't need to leave your house. I hope that this segment of the class, which I find to be the most important for all of you to really get started with, is something that I really think you should consider looking into. For those of you that have additional questions on this, I'm happy to address them. If you want to email me following the class, if you have any personal questions, that are specific to you, feel free to message me. As we continue on with the next section today, I'll go through the chat and see if there's anything that I'll answer directly. Okay, let's go to the next slide here. The next thing we're going to look at is Venmo, and this is something that I think you're also going to find very, very interesting. This is something that if you've taken a class with us before, this is something that we tend to cover every semester. Let me just explain what the situation would be where you would use a program like Venmo and how it differs from what we just explained. So you've probably found yourself in a situation where you needed to pay a friend but didn't have cash or a check on you. These situations could include sharing a cab, splitting a meal, or maybe even paying rent or bills to a roommate. Instead of going to an ATM or writing a check, there's an easier solution, and that is Venmo. Venmo is an online service owned by PayPal that allows you to quickly pay and request money from your friends. It also functions as a social media platform where you could view, like, and comment on your friends' recent payment activities. That last sentence is something that will not be applicable to us because, as we're going to show you today, we're all going to create private accounts where you cannot do that last sentence. This is basically used to pay and share money with friends across the internet. I actually saw recently Uber is beginning to accept Venmo payments, something that actually came out last week. So that's something that if you do use Uber, something that you might find interesting. I also you could use Venmo for certain business deals if you would like. For example, if you go work with someone for something and and they owe you this amount of money, they can Venmo you that money. Venmo is really, really easy, and the Venmo, you hook Venmo up either to a credit, debit, or bank account, and the money, when you do this exchange, will just be directly brought into there. If you pay someone using Venmo, which you definitely can, it will first go through the amount of money you have in your Venmo balance. So for example, if someone paid you $20 this morning and you have to pay someone $15 this afternoon, it will just take from that 20 as opposed to bringing the 20 into your bank account. But once it kind of bypasses that, what you have there, it will then take the money out of your bank account. Okay. So I'm now going to pass the microphone to Joe, who's going to explain how to download Venmo, which, as you'll see, is very similar to what we explained with online banking, and also the basic outline procedure for how to get an account with Venmo, which is, as you'll see, very, very simple. All right, Joe, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So to download Venmo is going to be the same thing as downloading any other app, as Jordan showed you with the online banking. You go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, you type in Venmo, and then you just click on download or install. Okay. So to create an account, once you open the app, you're going to see two options. You can either sign up with Facebook or sign up with email. If you have Facebook, it might be easier to just use that, and then you just sign in, or you can sign up with email. If you sign up with email, you're going to be asked for your email address, phone number, and bank account information. Now, this is safe, so it is okay to put in your bank account information. Okay, now I'm going to share my phone screen, and I'm going to pass it off to Julia to show you how to pay and request.
All right, Joe, you could pull up the Venmo app. I'm assuming some of you do have Venmo from previous classes, but for those of you that do not, it might be too tricky to kind of get this done now. So like I said, you'll have the recording after. You could download this app following the class today. Just be aware of the Venmo app. If you're looking for it in the App Store, it looks like this. I'll box it over here. It's like a blue icon with that white V in it. That's what you're looking for. The V is for Venmo, obviously, and you're looking for that just to make sure you're downloading the right app. So Joe, you can go ahead and click on that to open it up. This is what the Venmo homepage looks like, where you'll basically see recent payments of people that you have in your contacts. But what's important for us to be aware of is that button over here at the bottom of the screen. It says pay a request. All right, Julia, go ahead.
Hi guys. So once you have downloaded Venmo and set up your account, you could see that in order to pay or request someone on Venmo, you're going to click that little blue button on the bottom of your screen. And this is how you're able to pay other people or request money for them to pay you. So when you press on that button, you could see that there is a list of top people. These are people that Joe has Venmoed in the past. So if he wants to Venmo one of these people, he can just scroll through or click. But if he wants to Venmo someone new, he's just going to type in their name, or you could see he could type in their username. And you want to make sure that you're selecting the right person, because there might be a couple people with similar Venmo names. So here you could see this is Jordan's Venmo profile. It has a picture of him, so we could be pretty certain that it's his Venmo account. And when we click on his name, it will then allow you to type in the amount of money that you either want to pay or request Jordan. So let's say we want to pay Jordan $1. So we type in the number 1. And then right below it, there's a little subject line. What is it for? So we're going to type in whatever we're spending the money for. So you could see here, Joe's typing in tech class. And then once we finish writing the amount and the reason for the payment, we're going to either click request or pay. So if we want to request that money, that means we're requesting from Jordan to pay us $1. And then if we click on that pay button, that means we're automatically paying Jordan that $1. So you would click on whichever one, depending on the one that you're looking for. You could see that Jordan clicked pay. So now he has paid Jordan $1, and Jordan now has $1 in his Venmo account. And you could see here that on this like sort of home screen, it shows you the recent transactions. And you could see here, it says you paid Jordan Mittler minus $1 for the tech class. So you could see here that we paid Jordan, and it shows the amount.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Julia. So you can see that the process is pretty simple. It actually reminds me of like texting, where once you click on the pay a request, you have that to field of who you're sending the message to. It asks you for some sort of description, which could be kind of the chat, and you could add whatever you would like to that. I think, as Julia mentioned, it's important to include some sort of text in that text field, just so the person that you're sending to and you in the future know what the payment was for. So just by saying like thanks is not the best, just because you won't know really what you're dealing with if you want to kind of recount your steps and see what the payment was for later on. Okay, now Caroline is going to go through the process now of how to take money that you've received in your Venmo account and transfer it to your bank account and credit card. Basically, if you have $100 sitting in here and you don't want it there anymore, how can you bring that money to your bank account and credit card? So this is what she's going to show you now.
Hi, so basically what you want to do when you want to transfer your money is you're going to go to your profile, which is in the bottom right, that first thing over there, and you should see it, the button in the bottom right that has a little like person with a money sign, I guess. And the button that you want to click on is this big blue button that says transfer balance. So Joe now has $410 in his Venmo account. So if he wants to transfer some of that, he'll click on this blue button that says transfer balance, and it should give him two options. So you can either ship it to your bank account instantly, which is the bottom left, and it costs a little extra, or you could ship it with 1 to 3 business days with no fee. So if you want to transfer only some of this money, but not all of it, you can like tap on where you see the money, and it should give you this numbers where you can type in as much money as you would like to transfer. So if he only wants to transfer $10 of his 410, he can now press the done button, and now only $10 will transfer to his bank account.
Okay. Thank you, Caroline. This is something that you kind of do pretty often because the money sitting in the Venmo account really isn't doing you the best. Sometimes people like to keep a certain amount of money there, maybe like $20, just in case you have to use Venmo to pay someone. And as opposed to having to go through your bank account, you want to keep some money in the Venmo balance so that you can kind of just keep it there and use that money as the money that you're using to pay and receive payments. Okay, now the last thing we're going to cover with regard to Venmo is privacy. And this is pretty important because Venmo can be used in a public setting where things that you might not want to be shared can be shared online. As you see, if you click on that first icon at the bottom left, you'll see how you could actually view payments that have been made. It's kind of turned into some sort of social media sort of practice. It obviously doesn't show how much money that the money's been exchanged, but it's positioned out there for people in your contacts to see. For those of you that want to, including the majority of people that use Venmo, if you want to turn this feature off, where your account is fully private, no one can see, your payments. The only people that could see it is obviously you and the person that you're paying to. You have to enable one feature of that's called privacy. And I'm going to now pass over to Joe to explain how to turn this on. Really take note of this, because this should be step one when you download the Venmo app, just to make sure your app is on privacy.
Okay, so to make your account private, you want to first click on the same profile button on the bottom right that you clicked on to transfer money. And then you want to click on the settings on the top right. It should be a similar icon to what you see on a phone, where it has the little gear in the middle. And then once you click on that, you should see in the middle of the screen something that says privacy with a lock next to it, right? Circled right now. And then once you click on that, you have three options. You can either make your account public, meaning it's visible to everyone who has Venmo, or you can make it friends, which means it's visible to the sender, the recipient, and their Venmo friends. The last option is, which you would most likely want, is private, where it's visible to the sender and recipient only. And then once you click on that, you should see a check next to it. That will tell you that that's now your setting. And then once you go back to your Venmo homepage, you will now be private.
Perfect. And the way you can confirm, Joe, if you click on pay a request, you will see, just put someone's name in, you will see at the bottom of the screen, I'll circle it in red, just to kind of confirm that it does say private with a little lock there. So if you're ever unsure and you want to make sure, you can click on that private option over here, just to kind of to make sure that you're turned on private. You see how it says private is your default, because as Joe just showed you, that's what you selected as your default in settings. But if you just want to make sure that that's checked off, you could do that. So there are many ways just to make sure that your stuff is saying private. Someone asked, is a similar program to Venmo that you could also take advantage of is a program called Zelle, Zelle. It was created by TD Bank. It pretty much does the exact same thing. For me, I think Venmo is the easier program to learn how to use and to operate, and it seems to be the more popular program. But for those of you that use Zelle, it is a similar program. They're kind of overlapping in terms of what their uses are. Okay, let's go back to the slides here. Before we move on to our final topic of Apple Pay and Apple Wallet, I do want to just mention PayPal and how that works briefly, because I do think it is important. So PayPal is actually the creator of Venmo, for those of you that didn't pick up on that. PayPal is something that allows you to make secure transactions without providing your credit card number to individual websites. It is one of the safest banking websites that are currently out there, and it's something that I think for those of you that are worried about safety, this is definitely the path to go. PayPal also offers a business profile as opposed to just the personal one, which allows you, if you run your own business or you have business exchanges, you could do this on Venmo. The only downside to using the business account is it does charge you a small fee every time you make a purchase. It's like a small percentage of the payment. But like I use the business profile for when I do things with Mittler Senior Technology. I think it's really great, and you should check it out if that applies to you. Joe, if you stop sharing for a second, let me just go into the PayPal site. PayPal is an app that you could download on your smartphone or tablet. You could also access it on the internet just by putting in paypal.com. For those of you that would like that use this often and would like to have it more accessible, you could download it just like we showed you with online banking and Venmo via the App Store or Google Play Store, and just put in PayPal and find the app there. Now, here's what the PayPal website looks like once you've signed in. You'll see how it's just similar to online banking, gives you a lot of different options here. It has my PayPal balance, how much money I've received in, how much money I've received, how much money I've given out. You could change the range of that, so you could see kind of a bigger range. You could request and send money using PayPal. This is in that terminology, it is similar to Venmo, except this is a little more official. Where you're basically using a bill as Venmo is more of like you'll just get like a little pop-up. Jordan has requested $10. It's a little more it's less formal. But you'll see how here you could put in you don't really need their PayPal account. You could put in someone's name, email, username, etc. In order to use PayPal. Okay. I'll also point out that for those of you that do have a PayPal account, almost all, well, I won't say almost all, but a nice amount of online shopping websites actually give that as an option when you are going through the checkout. So if you're on Amazon, for example, or Fresh Direct or any online shopping site, and you are going through with a purchase, you might see two options. One says credit or debit, and one says PayPal. And PayPal allows you to basically send the payment without, you're not putting in any sort of credit or debit card. That information is not being shared. It's a very user-friendly site that allows you to pay without sharing that information with sites. So if you've ever gotten into any sort of problems with using online shopping, PayPal is the way to go. That's one of the things that makes PayPal unique from the other programs we looked at this morning, which is that PayPal is also related to online shopping and can be used just by clicking on the option when you're in that checkout stage that says use PayPal, signing in. Typically, it asks for your email and password, something you'll have obviously when you create an account, and the payment will go through pretty simply. It doesn't really ask for any other information beyond that. For those of you that have purchased or are interested in purchasing our recorded classes, which I'll explain a little bit more at the end of the class today, part of that is done via PayPal, where you have the option when you purchase the class to either pay with a debit or credit card, or it says pay with PayPal. And now, as you might be intrigued to find out, you're welcome to try setting up a PayPal account and paying for our program through that way. This is something that I do think when you do create your account, you could definitely use this recording as a way to guide you, but there might be some more things, the questions that you might have, and I'm happy for you to send me an email, and I'll help you out if you're struggling with the PayPal account creation process, which might be a little tricky, but for the most part, you should be able to figure it out. So once again, let's just recap here. Online banking platforms are used to do basically what you would do in a physical bank, cashing checks, paying bills, viewing your account balance. Venmo was used to make payments from one person to another when you want to split a check, or when you're sharing a cab, or when you want to send money to a friend or colleague or family member. And then PayPal is used to make purchases on the online website. So when you have when you're checking out on a website, you use the option to pay with PayPal. It is a safer option than putting in your full credit card number, etc. Okay, Joe, let's scroll down a little bit. We can skip through some of this. All right, this one over here where it says, does PayPal cost money to use? PayPal, I'll just point out, is pretty much free. The only thing I would charge for if you do some sort of currency conversion, and obviously if you are using the business profile, it will charge a small percentage. But PayPal, just like Venmo, doesn't cost anything to download the app or get an account, and it doesn't really cost any money to use. Right, so you see how it says to on a personal basis, but if you ever reach that stage where you want to use the business account, you will have to pay a small fee, but in terms of finances, PayPal is definitely a great option. Okay, let's go 2 slides next to the Apple Pay and Wallet. This last thing, which we're going to look at in the last few minutes that we have, is something that I definitely wanted to get to, because it is something that is becoming more popular recently. This is, although we are going to show you how to use this on Apple phones, there are similar programs that you can access on Android devices. Which the way I like the way we format this class, each of the 4 payment methods we're showing you kind of are known for different things. This program, this Apple Pay, is known for making in-store purchases in a quicker method, which is basically just taking out your phone, just like you see in the picture, scanning it to that credit card reader, just like you would with an actual credit card, and the payment will go through. The way it is secured is by the passcode you have encrypted on your phone. So if you have an older phone, it might be from that 4-digit number. It might be from a Touch ID if you have one of those phones, or from the relatively newer phones, it will be through Face ID. And what we're going to show you now is how to get this Apple Pay wallet open. Joe, you could screen share your phone, and how to take a look at it. I will point out, as Joe is doing this, that this is an app that is already downloaded with your phone when you purchase the phone. So it's not something that you need to go to the App Store or Google Play Store like the other platforms we've been showing you. But this is something that will actually be there for you on the home screen when you purchase a phone. You might have to look a little bit for it. I'll circle it, Joe, if you could find it. Yeah, there we go. It's in the 4th row here. It basically looks like a wallet. It says wallet right below it. And in order to open it, you just want to go ahead and click on, you want to click on that icon there. Here's what the wallet interface looks like. This is basically your online wallet. I will point out that besides from putting in credit and debit cards, you also have the ability to put in like tickets or passes. If you're on a plane, you could put in a boarding pass if that's something you wanted to do. Or if you're going to a sports game, you could put in tickets to a sports game. There are a lot of different things you could put in here, separate from the credit and debit card, which are more like one-time things. You could put in gift cards, like a Starbucks gift card or an Apple gift card, or any of those things. This wallet is pretty much used for many of those things beyond just a credit and debit card. So just be aware of that. If you ever want to have just at your fingertips access to a gift card or a sports ticket or a plane boarding pass, you could do that from this app as well. So I'm now going to pass it over to Julia just to explain how to add a card to the Apple Wallet, how to bring a card here, and how to get started with it.
Okay, so to add it, you could see here, Joe has 2 cards in his wallet, but to add an additional card, you're going to click on that little white plus button on the top right corner of the screen. And that will allow you to add additional things to your Apple Wallet. So right now you can see here, there's a bunch of different options. You can apply for an Apple card. And then here you see you can add a debit or credit card, or also a transit card. So here I'm going to show you how to add a debit or credit card. So if you click on that button and then you press continue, it will have you either manually enter your information or scan your credit card if you have it with you. So right now, Joe doesn't, I'm assuming, have a credit card with him, but if you were to have that specific credit card that you want to add, you would just take a picture of the front and back, and that would input the information into your Apple Wallet. Or you could see on the bottom, it says in blue, enter card details manually. And if you click on that button, it will allow you to put in your name and your card number, and put in all of that information, and you'll press next, which you could see right now is gray on the top right corner. But once you put in that information, it will turn blue, and you'll be able to press on that. And it will probably take you through a few more steps, and then you'll add that card to your wallet.
Okay, perfect. So for now, you can see that Joe has his Citi card in here, so we're going to use that as our basis for that. once you the only additional step, and what Julia showed you, it was it will ask you for your I don't know if it did your car number and your your CVV. It might ask for basically just to verify that this is your card and you're comfortable with putting it into the app. This app has no strings attached to the internet. So in terms of safety, this is totally for you and for your own use. This has no relevance to the internet and the shebang that goes on there. So if you are worried about safety, this is definitely a safe program to use. It's built into your phone, so it's not something that you access through the online internet. Now, just like the online banking apps, you're able to view information about things that you've done with this card. And I'll pass it over to Caroline to show you how you could see that, how you can see those pieces of information. Caroline, you here?
Yeah, hi.
I was going to have you show how to view the transactions and things you've done with the card.
Yeah. Okay. So basically what you want to do is you want to click on the card that you want to view the transactions. And once you see that is right, what will pop up is latest transactions. And you can go into any of these transactions by clicking on this little gray arrow. And that'll bring you into the transaction. And if anything isn't correct or you see something that's weird, you could report it by clicking on this bottom button. But overall, this is just to show you how much money you spent on this transaction, the date of the transaction, and the time of the transaction. So you can check if it's all correct and stuff like that. And if you want to get back to the rest of the transactions, you can click on the blue button in the top corner. And here again are your latest transactions with this credit card.
Perfect. So this is similar to that online banking site where you could see your most recent transactions and just make sure that everything's up to date. You should even get a notification, just like you would get a text message when you do make a transaction or when some transaction is made with your credit card. Something also nice is when you have recurring payments. For example, if you have a monthly payment for something, you will get a notification when that payment goes through. Something also nice to have. Now, the last thing I'll show you, which is I think the most important, is how to actually, once you've added your card, make a payment at a store using the credit card. So you walk into the store, you go up to the cashier, you have your bag of whatever you're purchasing. How do you actually use the Apple Wallet? And when Joe goes through this, there is slightly difference between the relatively newer phones and the older phones, and he'll make sure to mention that, just because there some of you might have different models of the phones, but the overall gist is the same. So Joe's now going to explain how to use the Apple Wallet.
Okay, so to actually make a payment, if everyone can look at my video and not at the this shared screen for a minute. To make a payment, you on the newer phones, you want to double click the power button, which is going to be on the side of your screen. Just a quick double click on it. And now if everyone looks at the shared screen, which, one second. One second, everyone. Okay, so once I double click, it automatically does my Face ID. And then you can see that my card shows up. And now it says hold near reader. So when you're at a store or something, there'll be a scanner and you just hold your phone up to that and it will scan your credit card and you'll be able to pay that way. If you don't have a Face ID on your phone, then it'll ask you to pay with the passcode and you just have to type your phone's passcode in to use the credit card. Also, if you have multiple cards on this and you want to choose between them, which one to pay with, all the other cards are going to be on the bottom of the screen. And if you click on one of the other ones, then that will show up instead and you can use that one to pay.
Okay, perfect. This is something that I think is something that you'll all get the hang of. The only thing I will tell you is, although Apple Pay has become more popular, and as businesses begin to accept Apple Pay, it will be accessible at most stores. I would say it's definitely accessible at most stores currently, as this has been around for a couple years now. But I would not just not bring credit or debit cards around with you anymore because you think I have this on my phone, and that's fine. There will be every once in a while a store that just doesn't accept Apple Pay yet. So I still would carry around your physical credit and debit card just in case. But I would say for the most part, even at restaurants and at stores, and really things, even in taxi cabs, just really kind of spreading, you should be able to use just exactly like Joe showed you, the Apple Pay service. Okay, and like I said, this is accessible on Android devices as well. It is slightly different in terms of how to download it and how to set it up, but the process is pretty similar. If any of you are Android users and want more information on this, feel free to reach out to me individually. Okay, it is 12:30, so I do just want to make a few announcements just to wrap up today's class. Joe, you can go to the next two slides. For those of you that this is your first class joining us, I do hope that you enjoyed today's class and you benefited from the topics that we covered. For those of you that joined a little bit late and missed my opening announcements, I just want to just remind everyone about the really exciting events we have upcoming. And also just to point out that the recording of today's class will be sent out to all of your emails and your WhatsApp chat, no matter which form of contact method you use. With the recording link. So if you want to review pieces of the class, you have access to that really forever. You could always go back and rewatch it. If you are not on our email list or WhatsApp chat and you would like to be, please send me an email. My email I'll put on the screen. It's actually at the bottom right over here. Now, what's on the screen right now is the flyer that has been kind of passed around over the course of the past few weeks. This will be sent out to you again if you have not seen it yet. The flyer on the left, if you don't know yet, Mittler Senior Technology, the program that I founded about 5 years ago, we're celebrating our 5-year anniversary in the next couple of months. And in order to celebrate that, we are hosting these exciting events, starting with today's class, February 27th, on online banking. Our next kind of stage to this program will be on March 13th, the same as that's another Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's actually in 2 weeks from today. That will be a very interesting class on photos and social media, how to take, how to share, how to use, how to organize photos. If you're one of those people that have thousands and thousands of photos on your phone and you don't know what you're looking at or where they're coming from, that's something that I'm happy to, that will be covered in the class. And then finally, the big kind of conclusion to our 5-year celebration will be on April 3rd at 11:30 a.m. And this, I'm now going to turn to this right side flyer. We will be hosting a tribute event at 11:30 a.m. on April 3rd, which will have an in-person option at the Ramaz Lower School. The address is over here, 125 East 85th Street. For those of you that are in New York or will be in New York and would like to attend in person, we are more than happy to have you attend. Everything will be COVID safe, obviously. But for those of you that would like, either because you are not in New York or would like to attend virtually, there will be an option for you to attend online as well. So everyone should be able to come. There is no price to attend. This event will have a lot of different features. As we get closer, I'll send a more detailed schedule of the event, but it will consist of speeches from some seniors. We'll show some videos. I'll teach a little bit of a class. For those of you that are coming in person, we're going to have food and we'll have a lot of exciting things going on that day, which you'll find out later from me. So we are happy to have everyone attend with us in person. But for those of you that are not able to, you are welcome to join us online. The only thing I do ask is if you would like to attend in person, please RSVP by emailing me using the email at the bottom of the flyer, and I will. You're going to receive an email later from me today with the class information. So you could just reply to that email and just say, I'll be attending in person, just so I could have a list and the amount of people that we have attending. So that's the one thing I ask for those of you that are attending in person. Just send me an email, very simple email. Just say I'm coming. As we get closer to April 3rd, you'll get more emails and more information from me about this event. I really, really hope all of you will come and celebrate with us the 5-year anniversary of what I believe to be really, really an amazing program, one that we've grown and developed over the course of the past few years. So thank you, everyone, so much for attending today's class. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you benefited from it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me using that email at the bottom right of the screen, or you could just reply back to the email you'll get from me later on today with the recording. And just the last thing I'll point out on that last slide is for those of you that are interested in really signing up for a full class with us, Joe, you can go to the next slide, and would like to really take advantage of all that we offer. This is our 2 most popular classes are uploaded to our portal site, which is a website where you could sign in. You could pay using PayPal, as you all should somewhat know about now, where you could take a full 10-lesson course at your own pace, either computer basics or advanced computers. These are our 2 most popular programs. And for those of you that really want to start from level 1 and go step by step, this is what I definitely recommend you to take advantage of. These are recorded classes, so ones that you could do at any time. For any questions on this, once again, email me. I'm very responsive on email. Just send me an email with any questions that you have. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming to today's class. And I hope to see you live on March 13th for our second class of photos and social media. And then on April 3rd, either in person or online for our tribute event. Thank you, everyone, so much, and hope to see you all again soon.